Easter is a great excuse for feasting after the deprivations of Lent. In her book, Brindisa, the True Food of Spain, Monika Linton describes an Easter in the northwest of the country, where the food was particularly memorable. I met cheesemaker Ambrosio, known as Ambro Molinas, when I bought my first raw sheep's cheese from him in the village of Guzman in Burgos province in Castile and Leon back in 1990. The cheese came in a tin, and Ambro called it after the plateau where it was made, Páramo de Guzmán, 800 to 900 metres above sea level, where the winters are cold, the summers hot and dry, and where they also harvest grapes to make wine. In springtime the rain is frequent, but comes and goes quickly, driven on by the wind, and the velvety, undulating green pasture underneath a big, open, clear sky reminds me more of Ireland than Spain. That tin had a whole world inside it, Ambrosio's world. Larger than life in every way, he is a great bear of a man, 7 feet tall, the youngest and tallest of 3 brothers, one of whom is a hunter. He has a big, booming voice. He's a generous-hearted rebel and philosopher. He plays the charango, a South American kind of lute, and is an outspoken upholder of his values and beliefs, from the superiority of the churra breed of sheep to the abstinence from vegetables in his diet, or the need to patiently spend 2 hours making the best bacalao al pil-pil, a salt cod dish. He also eats an extraordinary number of eggs. At 12, he won his first egg-eating competition, devouring 45 fried hen's eggs, and in a later contest took the title after eating 245 quail's eggs. These days he is famous for his hearty tortillas. His elegant wife, Asun, short for Asuncion, tells the story of how in the 70s the teenage Ambro, looking a bit like Che Guevara with his long wild hair and beard and in his bell-bottoms and zuecos, or clogs, proclaimed his feelings for her in the middle of the street in Aranda de Duero, her hometown. She told him he had no chance looking the way he did, so he tidied himself up, and they were married 6 months later. Our family spent one of the most memorable Easter holidays with Ambro and Asun. When we arrived at the house, Ambro gave us a piece of rosemary branch that had been blessed in the church on Palm Sunday, to be kept in the home for the rest of the year. Then, on Maundy Thursday, we prepared generous quantities of limonada, the lemon aperitif made with red wine that is traditionally drunk in the run-up to Easter Sunday. Of course, limonada is the name for lemonade, which makes it sound far more innocent than it is. In Ambro's cellar, a fair amount of early tasting is a serious task, and the men of all the local families heroically dropped by to test and check the balance of flavours, while Asun prepared another of the special Easter treats, torrijas de leche, slices of the local pan sobado, soaked in warm milk, infused with sugar, cinnamon and lemon, ready to be dipped in beaten egg and fried, then sprinkled with more sugar. Similar to French toast, and full of flavours that remind you of childhood. Sobar means to knead, and pan sobado is bread that is hand-kneaded so that it has the right texture to absorb lots of milk without becoming mushy. Maundy Thursday dinner was in the nearby town of Roa, with Manolo Perez Pascuas and his wife Juani Gonzalez. We started in their merendero, the outdoor bar and eating space at their bodega in the village of Pedrosa, drinking our first cups of limonada with the ladies of the village before they attended the evening church service. Then it was into the back room of the local bar for slow-cooked bacalao a la taverna. This is grilled salt cod in an emulsion of olive oil and garlic, similar to pil-pil, but made with fish still on the bone, from which the cod just falls away into the unctuous, tasty sauce. Adorned with slices of roasted red peppers, it was served in one of the vast earthenware dishes that are a speciality of the Zamoran town of Perurella, along with a fresh salad and some fascinating vintages of Pedrosa wine. Also dining were some of the local hunters, including Isidro el Bartolo, considered one of the best hunters of the village. A quiet man of the land, his name is really a mote, a nickname or byword, since he is the son of Bartolo, but no one actually knows his surname. With barely a word, he passed me a bowl of the hare casserole the hunters were sharing, an amazingly dark, mysterious dish full of tender, aromatic meat. After midnight, the whole village congregated in the front bar to play the traditional Maundy Thursday game of chapas, using alfonsinas, 10-cent coins from the time of Alfonso XII. It was a riot of noise, as the players bet on heads or tails, as the coins were thrown in the air, sometimes losing and leaving, then returning again with a fistful of money to try their luck in new rounds. When we left at 3 a.m, the game was still going strong. At midday on Good Friday, we headed to Ambro and Asun's own bodega, overlooking Guzman village and the flat-topped Manvirgo mountain. These bodega caves abound in hilly regions throughout Spain. They usually have a chimney built into them, a fireplace to cook on, a gas ring, table and chairs, and, as in this case, stone seats and tables outside to create a merendero for sunny days. Typically, they also have steps that lead down into a cool storage space, where families keep homemade preserves and olives, wines and liqueurs. At one time, Ambro and Asun used to age their cheeses in their bodega, almost breaking their backs carrying them up and down the steps. These retreats are favourite places for family and friends to gather, eat, drink, play music, sing and relax at weekends and on special holidays. Sometimes just the men of the village will escape to them for a few hours to sit around and tell stories, in the way that people often sit around their sheds on allotments in Britain. On Good Friday, we sat outside on the warm stones, drinking limonada and dipping hunks of bread into our limón de Pascuas, an Easter lemon aperitif, before cooking the traditional revueltos, scrambled egg, over an open fire. One pot with the addition of young garlic, just in season, the other with tuna, and washed them down with tumblers of red wine, while Ambro played guitar and everyone sang. Then, on Easter Sunday morning, we joined the procession around the village, in which the men, in their best suits, carried the statue of the resurrected Jesus from the church, while the women carried the statue of the mourning Virgin Mary, her face and figure covered in a black cloak, in the opposite direction. When eventually they were reunited, the women sang, while, according to tradition, a representative of the church asked who would bid the most money to remove the mourning veil from the statue of Mary. After an intense auction, the ladies who had pledged the winning bid removed the veil, kissed the Virgin, no longer Dolorosa but Feliz, in her newly revealed brightly coloured dress, and the procession returned to the old church with its beautiful rickety wooden porch for the Easter Mass. And so finally, after aperitivos of vermouth and a game of cards with the villagers, we sat down for the Easter meal, a feast of roast milk-fed lamb, shared once again with the Pérez Pascuas family. If you would like to try the recipes for bacalao al pil pil, limonada or limón de Pascuas featured in Monika's story, you can find them here in our blog.